Mental Health Monday with Mick Coyle.
Radio City Talk.
Okay, it's Radio City Talk. It's Mental Health Monday. My name is Mick Coyle. We have heard about the Feeling Funny project before. It's some great work which goes on through the Comedy Trust based in Liverpool, funded by the Big Lottery. There's a new Feeling Funny Mums set up, which we're going to hear about on the programme today, doing brilliant work with mums, particularly with a focus on perinatal depression and or anxiety, with a focus from a comedic point of view as well. We've got the project manager in the studio, Helen Holden. Helen, it's great to see you again. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, Mick.
This Feeling Funny project has taken on different sort of angles and branches as you've gone along the way. You've now gone into the mums. For people who can't see the branding, mums has got where the U is, a little smiley face.
It has.
With dots over the U.
Yeah.
Just tell us about how you got on board with the mums side of things.
So, as you've just said, we've been doing our Feeling Funny programme for the past, I think it's nearly 4 years now. Primarily, we were working just with men, trying to tackle some of the issues around men's mental health and men not opening up and talking about their mental health and well-being. So we recognise that things like comedy courses and humour and laughter can be a great way into tackling what is sometimes deemed a tricky subject matter or a taboo subject matter. So the Feeling Funny Mums project has come off the back of that, and that is again just another way of starting to support and help mums who might be experiencing postnatal depression, postnatal anxiety, prenatal depression or anxiety. So the term perinatal mental illness is that period in the run up to giving birth, and then kind of 12 to 18 months after having a baby. So it's another strand to a really positive project that uses alternative ways to act as an intervention for helping people cope and talk and connect with other people.
When we've spoken before, Ellen, we've talked about the fact that stand-up comedy was such a perfect thing for blokes because it was almost like a trick.
Yeah.
Where you kind of go, look, it's not, it's this, try this. It's about mental health, but it's not about mental health. So it's kind of like a trick to get people through the door. But in doing it, you've obviously seen such a benefit. You've thought, well, actually, this isn't just a gimmick anymore. There's genuine sort of value in doing it, and it's something that can be done further afield.
Absolutely, and I think people can be quite dismissive of things like comedy or other art forms to helping people with mental illness because they might think it's, why would something like that actually make a difference to someone's lives? But like you say, we found it's helped improve confidence, it's helped improve self-esteem, it's helped people open up, know that they're not alone in what they're going through. And I think that's one of the big challenges with mental illness still, even though we've come on in leaps and bounds. So for the Mums, Feeling Funny Mums project, we have taken that element. We are going to be running a stand-up comedy course for mums who I think are kind of come through the other side, if you like. So we recognise that if you're currently experiencing postnatal depression and anxiety as a mum, a new mum or mum-to-be, the stand-up comedy thing might not be quite right for you. So we are offering that. So we're offering a short 7-week course as we have done with our other projects. But this time we're also offering a laughter and wellbeing group. So it's for mums who might not feel like getting up and standing up and telling jokes and it's a big ask. We know that. But we know that there'll be some mums out there who think, I never would have dreamed that I'd have been able to do this when I was in the thick of it. But we want to offer different things for people at different stages with different needs. So we're running a regular group for 10 weekly sessions that's going to take place in the Walker Art Gallery. So we're partnering up with them, which is a great venue in the city centre. But that's more, it's a gentler way in.
Well, and actually, and speaking of, I've got a near 4-month-old at home now, and actually there's if you can do the comedy course, brilliant. But of course, sometimes life after a baby arrives is a little bit different, and it looks a little bit more like the other elements you're offering to this one, which are children's centre sessions, drop-in sessions, a couple of hours here and there.
Yeah.
So I think that actually the great thing about the 3 different elements that you've got for this year will mean that essentially you can find a way
Yes.
it's easier to find a way to get it in if it's something that you're interested in doing.
Definitely, and that's the thing. We want to work with people and the needs of people, and particularly, like you say, like with new mums, it's not that straightforward to just go, right, I'll drop everything and coming along to a stand-up comedy course if you're in the early stages of it. And like I say, particularly if you're feeling vulnerable and you're feeling a bit isolated, something like a group where you can come and just come week to week, if you want to, but come once if you want to. It's offering that flexibility and also, connecting mums with other mums, using laughter and the light-hearted side of being a parent and being a mum to try and have a talking point. But actually we might go off on loads of different tangents and talk about, what's happening in the news, dare I say Brexit, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to just be about being a mum, I suppose, is what I'm saying.
Helen Holden is with us in the studio, project manager of Feeling Funny Mums. It's running through the Comedy Trust and it's funded by the big lottery.
It is.
I have to give them a mention, I guess, don't I?
You do.
You've mentioned your partners as well. Let's bring Lauren Livesey into the conversation. Lauren's a mum. Laura, great to see you. Thank you for your time.
It's okay.
So you've got a baby? One?
Yes. First time mum.
Excellent stuff. Tell us about what motherhood sort of was like for you, the highs, the lows and everything in between.
That's quite a big question. So obviously I'm a first time mum. My little girl is 15 weeks now, so she's still quite small. So obviously very happy when we found out I was pregnant, and everything went fine. We were really lucky because I've got a history of mental health, so we got quite a lot of support very early on, actually, because I've mentioned it to our midwife, and then they referred us straight over to like the perinatal team that we're obviously really lucky to have, because that's not accessible everywhere, unfortunately. So they got in touch straight away and said, if you feel you need us, get in touch, etc., etc. So that was really good. And then we had loads of support throughout the pregnancy in terms of from my midwife and a bit later on health visitor and all that kind of thing. So we did get a lot of support, but obviously I think especially as a first time mum, you haven't got a clue what to expect. You're constantly like, is this normal? Is everything okay? Yeah, you have all these different worries, and that lasts from the pregnancy all the way through. Like even now, 15 weeks, obviously you get into a bit more of a routine, but you're still a bit like, is that normal? Like, I say to my friends, I never thought I'd be so interested in like someone else's poo, for example.
I always find it really strange, and I've not quite got my head around how we deal with this better, having gone through it for a second time, where you say to people now, if you feel like you're completely lost control and you feel like you don't know what's going on, that's absolutely fine. Because I almost think, well, what if it isn't fine? What are the rules? And it's this thing there. If it feels like you're completely losing your mind at any one point, that's the normality of it. And you think, well, it shouldn't be the normality of it, but it's hard until you go through it to look back at it to think, well, how would I have dealt with it? Even if you've got the best mental health in the world, it is the most challenging time I think that anyone will ever experience.
It really is. I mean, I think there's so many. I think part of the issue, and I'm not saying it's not an issue necessarily in a negative way, but everyone seems to have an opinion or a view or try this, try that, and obviously people do it with the best intentions, but sometimes you're a bit like, is what they're saying okay? Is what they're not saying okay? There's so much. There seems to be a lot of conflicting advice about all manner of things you wouldn't even think about. Like I didn't have a clue about most of it before I became pregnant or before I had my baby. Like all this stuff about sleeping and co-sleeping and weaning and formula and breastfeeding, and you're absolutely bombarded with like this whole completely new world of just stuff that you have never had to think about before, and it can be really overwhelming because you obviously just want what's best for your child.
I think the other thing is that you try and act like a sponge, don't you, when you're expecting, because you're thinking, right, I need to know this information, I need to write this down, And then you'll speak to somebody like 3 weeks in when it's all going wrong, and they'll go, oh yeah, just dismiss all that. Like, forget all that stuff. So they'll do stuff about swaddling, they'll do stuff about sleeping, they'll do stuff about the amount you should be feeding your child, whether or not to do top-ups, whether or not to do top-ups with breastfeed. You go through all of that. And then you'll meet somebody, and it's often the health visitor, and they'll go, yeah, don't worry about that. Just go with your gut on how you think things. And you think, thank goodness, where were you? Where were you 6 months ago? But then you also have the people who will come along and they'll do the thing. Oh, well, they're teething a bit. A little drop of brandy on the end of the duck. And you think, no, absolutely not.
I have had complete strangers, often well-meaning complete strangers, but either sort of, bend down to have a little touch or say, oh, maybe they're hungry, maybe they're tired, and you're kind of just like, yeah, they're fine, like they're not like, or it's nice that you want to like engage my child, but I don't actually know who you are. So.
But I think that's the other thing, that actually that everyone is so well-meaning with all of it, that actually you're inbuilt to kind of accept advice from well-meaning strangers, aren't you? But because it's conflicting enough, you're thinking, well, there's no goodies and baddies in this. There's nobody there with the horns, who's giving you one bit of advice and then the angels who are giving you the rest. What you're having to do, you're having to sift it all and work it all out for yourself.
Yeah, it's a complete minefield. I would say 15 weeks in, and obviously we're not really far in, but I've become a bit more settled with it and a bit more kind of like, okay, trust my instincts a bit more. But at the beginning in particular, and like I say, even before she was born, it was quite difficult because, like I say, you feel a bit. I think one of the reasons that you can feel maybe anxious or that kind of thing is because in some ways you feel a bit judged. Like, oh no, my child is crying in public, and people are going to judge me for it, and they're going to think I'm a bad mother. And it's like, no, you're not a bad mother. Babies cry, but it takes a long time to get into that thought process, or oh no, they're being fussy, or they're going to be ruining this activity for everyone else, or you go, you've paid to go to, I don't know, like a baby sensory class or whatever, and then your 5-week-old just sleeps through it, and then you're a bit like, oh no, they've slept through it, they're not engaging with it, like my child's never gonna engage with this sort of thing, and you just panic, and like I say, but I've definitely found you're a lot harder on yourself, and you sort of, I think, can perceive a lot of other people's judgment. I've not ever had someone turn around to me and be like, oh, your child's crying, you're a bad mother. Or, I've not ever had a turn around and say to me, oh, you're doing this, you're awful. Like, like I've never had that, but it's your perception.
Absolutely. We had the second one. I feel like this is like a little therapy session for me. But we had our second one, right? And so he was born. We had a girl, and she had all kinds of problems with feeding right at the start. And then his blood sugar was a little bit low. They said, turns out they had the wrong reading, and they were like, he needs to get a bottle in him within the next hour. And he just had a bottle, and he'd just been awake, so he fell asleep. So an hour later, someone comes around, have you fed him? No, we haven't fed him. He's asleep because he's been awake. He's already had a bottle. He doesn't need another bottle. Right, we need to get... And then so the nurse who's then trying to get the blood sugar up, they're trying to do it for readings, false feeding him. And my wife were just sitting on the bed just thinking, this doesn't feel right. Now, these are the professionals, so you can't leave them to it. You're thinking, are we really doing it so wrong? Or is our instinct right? Of course, the child didn't want to have the feed and it didn't work. And you think, well, we knew that, but there's a sense that these are the experts, you don't know. And then I think as you get into it, you get a real sense that, you learn to trust your instincts.
Definitely.
As you mentioned.
I mean, we've had similar issues. So for quite a long time, when our little girl, Clara, her name is, when she was first born, she was really uncomfortable in like her tummy, and we went to the doctor on our health visit advice. Went to the doctor twice, and twice they were like, she's fine, she's normal, and we were like, okay, you're a doctor, like we assume you know what you're talking about. And then it took quite a little while actually, and we ended up having to go back to the hospital because her weight gain was a bit slow and that kind of thing, and they did all these tests and they were like, well, she's fine, and then ended up seeing a dietitian who said that they think she has that cow's milk protein allergy thing, so she's been put on like different formula, and she's totally fine. But you're definitely right when I think there can be a bit of a tendency through pregnancy and afterwards to perhaps over medicalise certain stuff, or when we're in the hospital, like again, obviously with the best intentions, but they were like, she needs to be having this amount of food, and it was like, she's a small baby, she won't take it. Like, and I did say that to our dietitian and was like, you know, she seems happy enough, but I'm worried because you're telling me that she, or not the dietitian, but the doctor's like, you should be having however much, and she's not. And the dietitian was like, you know, it's fine. She'll let you know if she's hungry. I
think the thing as well as a parent, that you almost feel like you're constantly at the edge of a cliff, because you think that the next step can be a huge catastrophic error, and actually you lose the foresight to be able to think 3 weeks down the line, 3 months down the line, 3 years down the line. You're constantly sort of sidestepping along the edge of the cliff because you're thinking that something potentially is about to go wrong right now. I feel like I should probably sign up for this course, by the way.
We can make it feeling funny, mums and dads.
I think biggest piece of advice I think I was given was just remember it's not forever, and that not in like not in like a negative, but you know, if you're having a sleepless night or your child's being fussy or whatever, just remembering actually tomorrow will be better, and like next week will be better. And they're not going to be waking up 5 times a night when they're 15 years old, you know, or hopefully not anyway.
Well, I set up Dad's Hour and Sam Avery's appeared on Dad's Hour before, because I thought, well, even if the worst stuff in the world is happening, it'll be good content for Dad's Hour. Which is the other project that we work on. We've got Helen Holden with us in the studio. We're just hearing Lauren's story. Lauren Livesey, she's a mum. She's getting involved as well in the Feeling Funny Mums scheme. We'll get all the details about what you can find out and where you can find out more information in a few moments' time. It's Mental Health Monday from Radio City Talk.
Mental Health Monday
On Radio City Talk.
with Mick Coyle.
Tackling the stigma.
Radio City Talk.
It's Mental Health Monday on Radio City Talk. My name's Mick Coyle. We've got 2 guests in the studio. Helen Holden, project manager at Feeling Funny Mums. She's working with the Comedy Trust, funded by the big lottery. We've been hearing about the scheme, what it's all about, and we've been hearing from Lauren as well. Lauren Livesey is a mum, new mum, 15-week-old Clara, do you say? And she's getting on board with the Feeling Funny Mums scheme. When did you first hear about the scheme?
So it was a little while ago now. So I think it was just after Clara had been born, so June. Sam had posted something up on his blog that he has on Facebook, I think, and my friend linked it to me.
This is Sam Avery, who's worked at the Comedy Trust for years, and he's also the learner parent.
He is, yeah.
So he's big on the new parent scene.
Yeah. So like I say, my friend sent me the link. She lives in like Darwin, so she's not really easy for her to come, but she knew that I might be interested, and then I kind of sat on it for a few weeks, as you do, because you've got so many new things going on as a new parent. And I was like, I really should get in touch. So I gave Helen a ring, and I think it was like the day before or something. But and I said, oh, have you still got space? I'd be really interested. And she said, yes, that's fine, come along. So we had like a little taster session in, was it July?
July it was, yeah.
Yeah, in July, and that was really positive. And it was really nice to get out and meet other mums and have the opportunity to just feel free to talk openly, I think. For me, that's like been a massive thing, being able to meet up with other parents and that are going through similar stuff, or even if they're not going through similar stuff, and just have a chat.
I imagine as part of that, you were able to sort of have a little bit of a laugh. At what point did you get a sense that comedy would be at the heart of this?
Probably pretty much from the beginning, to be honest. We had obviously like a little introduction, and Sam was there, so he obviously told us a bit about us and his twins, and it was. I mean, it was really laid back. It wasn't kind of like it wasn't like a sort of stand-up situation where, you know, you're standing up and you're purposefully telling jokes about stuff. But I think the fact that everyone was so open and honest, and actually being able to just, it was quite lighthearted. It was really nice, you know, to just be, like I say, be free to speak about that kind of thing and have a bit of a laugh. And I say a joke, I don't mean like, you know, you're casting people's concerns off and stuff, but being able to be like, oh yeah, actually mine does that too, or like, you know.
Well, I think there's something that from a comedic point of view, that if you've always sought something and you thought, I'm the only one who feels like this, and then you realise that a lot of other people feel the same way, there's that sense of relief that if it's done, Helen, in a funny way, it does lead to laughter, because that's part of the emotion, I think, of the release of it.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think that's what we found with our other programmes that we've run, is about just knowing that you can go, have a bit of time to reflect back and go, at the time I thought it was the worst thing in the world, but actually saying it out loud now in a group of other people where people get what you're saying, where it resonates, and you see all the heads nodding going, yeah, that's me too. And, it's not about laughing at postnatal depression. It's not about laughing at mental illness, but it's about using that opportunity for people to open up and have that release and express themselves, but using, like you say, laughter and comedy to share that with other people as well. And there might be times particularly within the 10-week group that we're doing, where the topics might get a bit more serious, but I think it'll just come naturally. It'll evolve, and it'll be a supportive group. It'll be non-judgmental. And if someone did get teary, it'd be absolutely fine. But we do want to keep this, different to say other support groups that are out there. We want to keep the focus on the lighter side of being a parent. And I think Sam's a great facilitator because he's a dad himself, and like you say, a new dad. So he's gone through all his journey. But our focus is on mums, because we're not saying dads don't have that tough time whatsoever. But I think as a mum, there's a different element of pressure and social judgments, and like Lauren's already mentioned that self-stigmatising and thinking, oh, this should be the happiest moment in my life or the happiest period, and why am I not feeling as great as you should? And don't put that pressure on yourself. Know that that's completely normal. And also, if it gets to a stage where it is very bad, that there is clinical support out there and there is other kinds of help. I suppose for us, we want to make sure it's these groups and these courses and sessions are for someone at the right stage of going through postnatal depression and to the more mild to moderate end of the scale. But knowing that there are other ways than just the medical or the clinical way as well, or that can complement that.
There are three elements to it. So it's the Well Funny Mums.
Yes.
And you can go into children's centres with that one.
Yeah. So we've already done a few of those sessions. We've been going around local children's centres. We go in, and I suppose that's like looking at it from like preventative, early intervention, talking about how, again, like with other mums, just how it is important to open up and talk and laugh and look at ways to, if you're having a really bad day, to do something that gives you a bit of a release at the end of the day. So it's reaching out to wider audiences, because we know like the 10-week group and the stand-up comedy course, we're not going to be able to cater for everybody who potentially is interested. So the Well Funny Mum sessions are great, hour and a half of just having us going out, reaching mums in different areas of the city. So children's centres or groups that run parenting or mums groups can get in touch with us and book those. They're kind of off-the-shelf sessions, so it's on demand.
Great. And then there's the 10-week
yes.
sessions, 10 weekly sessions that are running at the Walker Art Gallery, your partners. That's laughter and wellbeing drop-ins as well. When's that starting? Is that underway now?
So that is our first, as Lauren said, we did a taster session in July, but our first of the 10 weekly sessions is on this coming Wednesday, so Wednesday the 19th of September. The sessions will run from 10 till 12, but it'll be like 10 till 10:30, kind of getting people in, having a brew, having a gab. 10:30 till 11 we'll do something kind of a bit more structured, and then 11:30 till 12 the Walker Art Gallery's got an under fives gallery dedicated to little ones, so we'll move over there and just have a little kind of play in there for the last half hour. And
then there's the stand-up course itself?
Yes, so the stand-up course starts at, I'll have to just check the dates, so Wednesday the 24th of October. So what I should say, for the Well Funny Mums sessions and the Laughter and Wellbeing group, mums are welcome to bring their little ones with them to those sessions, or not, be on their own. With the Feeling Funny Mums stand-up comedy course, that will be just for the mums to come. It's an evening course, so it's running 6 till 8. It'll run from the 24th of October until the 12th of December. We're just yet to confirm our venue, but it will be the city centre as well. all these are free. They're completely free because we've got our funding through Big Lottery, which is brilliant. So we just need people to get in touch, to find out more, to see if it is the right thing for them. Hopefully through this, we're seeing this as almost like a pilot programme, because even though we've run the Feeling Funny courses and things previously, we want to make sure we get this right. So we want to test this 10-week group out and test the course out for mums, make sure we're pitching it right, making sure we're doing the right kinds of things. And then if we prove that it's a success, it'll give us a really strong case to apply for some more funding to keep it going. So, but yeah, it's the people want to get in touch just to have an initial chat. That's the best thing to do.
People might then go, right, where can I find out more about this? Where should they go?
So they can contact me directly. They can phone me on, I always have to check my mobile number, 07593 042 930. Or they can email me, helen@thecomedytrust.com. Or they can go on the Comedy Trust website just to find out what else we're doing as well. But it's www.thecomedytrust.org.uk.
Right, we'll get all that up on our social media. thecomedytrust.co.uk. That number again, 07593 042 930. Helen@thecomedytrust.com.
Yes.
And the website, www.thecomedytrust.co.uk. Lauren, in terms of your own sort of mental health and how you're viewing things, are you thinking that actually this scheme, this project might be something that you work into, how you deal with everyday matters? And of course it'll focus on the baby, but then that comes back to you as well.
Yeah, definitely. So I like to think I'm a reasonably outgoing person, but I definitely think having, like I say, the opportunity to talk about it with other people, and it will definitely branch into other areas of my life. It's made me a lot more willing, I think, to actually open up to people and say, you know what, I've had anxiety, I've had depression. And once you start speaking about it, you'll find actually it's quite common, which is a sad fact. But just for someone to say, I've been through that too, makes you feel not alone, makes you feel more open to accepting support and getting support. I think the worst thing you can do when you're feeling down is to shut yourself away, and which is obviously very common because I think there is, even though things have got a lot better through this and through the services that are available, and there's been so much, like I say, in the news about it, and a lot of celebrities have come out and talking about their mental health. So things definitely are moving in the right direction, but I think in a lot of areas there is still that stigma attached. So having the ability and feeling confident and comfortable to speak about it and go and seek that help, and as Helen mentioned, whether it's clinical help or something more similar like this or something else through the arts, there's definitely a lot of scope there, like I say, to hopefully Brilliant. Reach out to people.
And I think that's one of the things we try and do on this programme, where people say, let's talk about it. You go, great, everyone's talking about it. People are starting to talk about it. People are becoming more open to talk about it. What do we then do about it? Actually, it's great that you can go, well, why don't you try this week we're talking about this, next week we'll be talking about something, get on board with all of these things as well. So absolutely, the Feeling Funny Mums set up. Helen Holden is the project manager. Lauren is getting involved in it as well. They start the let me get this right. The Well Funny Mum sessions, they go through the children's centres. Yep. So if you're a parenting group, you can contact Helen and the team directly to come on board with a pre-packaged thing that basically arrives.
Yeah.
There's the Feeling Funny Mums sessions, Laughter and Wellbeing drop-in at the Walker Art Gallery. Very nice building. That's getting underway this coming Wednesday, the 19th of September, running for 10 weeks. They're absolutely free. And then there is a 7-week stand-up comedy course as well, running from the 24th of October. Venue to be confirmed. But again, if you want to be part of it as well, you can email Helen@thecomedytrust.com. That's Helen@thecomedytrust.com. Sign up to the Feeling Funny Mums project. I keep getting it wrong. Thank you both for coming in on the programme today. I think I'm going to start them like a stand-up routine, which is based around the idea that I can't count 7 ounces of formula into a bottle in a row without getting to 4 and then thinking, have I already said 4? 1, 2, 3. And then, you know what? Because it's the rhythm of 1 in, 2 in, 3 in, 4 in, 3 in, 4 out. That was an extra. Just things that happen all the time. And you just think, what is going on?
Exactly.
And it's parenthood. Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's got a lot to account for. Thank you both for your time. Wonderful to get you both on the programme.
very much.
And
Thanks
best
for
of luck
having
with
us,
the
Nick.
project. And as well, I'm sure if we could speak again maybe toward the end of the
Yes,
year and
yeah.
hear about
Yeah.
some of the mums who've maybe been through the course, a little bit of stand-up on the show as well would be wonderful to
That
hear.
would be perfect.
Helen Holden, Lauren Livesey, thank you both for your time. Mental Health Monday on Radio City Talk. If you want to check out the podcast, you can do. Just type it into any podcast provider, Mental Health Monday. You can get all previous editions. They're absolutely free to check out as well. And Mental Health Extra is with us on Tuesday. You're with Radio City Talk.
Mental Health Monday with Mick Coyle.
Radio City Talk.
Okay, so it's Radio City Talk, Mental Health Monday this week, taking a look at the issues that come with becoming a parent. If you've gone through it, you'll know exactly what we're talking about. And they often say, don't they, that, there isn't a manual for being a parent. If anything, though, in my experience, there are too many manuals. There's too many bits of advice. And as we've been hearing in our special this week, all kinds of different things that parents have got to deal with, think about and worry about. To continue the conversation, we're joined by, and I'm delighted to say, celeb mum and also blogger, Izzy Judd. Izzy, great to get you on the programme. Thank you for your time.
Hi, Mick. Thanks for having me.
Your fella Harry came on the mental health marathon, so thank you for your time. So have you got any other family members who are minded to come on the programme?
I think we'll all check in.
Absolutely. Just on that thing about there's no manual for being a parent. I mean, I don't know how many of the books you bothered reading through or how many you got through before you thought, oh, you know what, I'm just going to see if I can wing this.
Yeah, my journey into parenthood was a little bit different because we really struggled to conceive our first child. So a lot of my focus was on getting pregnant and having a successful pregnancy, that I actually hadn't given too much thought to what life was actually going to be like as a new parent. And nothing can prepare you for that. Nobody can tell you, and everybody's different. Every child is different. So I think however much you read, the only person you really will learn from is yourself, about how you can cope and what you need to kind of support you through this kind of crazy chaos of becoming a new parent.
Yeah, and through the conversations I've had, I almost get a sense now that although, of course, the child is the most vulnerable person in all of this, babies are relatively robust. I mean, if anything, the focus should be a little bit more on the parents, because the parents are the ones who will be Googling symptoms, who will be looking at things, who will be asking around, who will feel the anxiety on a regular basis, particularly in those early few days.
Yeah, and I think the internet is kind of our worst enemy and our best friend in many ways, isn't it? I think for me, certainly, I got to a point where I was like, Izzy, either just trust your instinct, just trust what do you think is happening right now? What does your baby need? And listen to what you feel is right. And also remembering to phone those, your family, your mum who's been through it, or talk to, the grandparents or the friends around you that are going through it. And don't be afraid, because they will have thought all the silly things that you have thought. And I think that's what's been so interesting about this new research that's come out this week from Aveeno Baby about, and I was actually really interested to see that 50% of parents are anxious about their children's health. It's something that, keeps them awake at night, the anxiety around that. But also there's 50% of parents as well who worry about accidents or something happening to their child. And that's so myself and my husband. I very much worry about the health, and Harry really has great fear about something bad happening to them, an accident or something like that. And these were fears that we wouldn't have had prior to kind of being a parent. So it brings on this whole new level of, anxiety and worry, which is obviously the parent's mental health. And yeah, as you say, that's the parents need to be looked after as much as the children.
I guess one of the things as well, with most things in life, if people are concerned about jobs or they've got, issues with whatever environment they're in, often the partner can kind of help out because they've either had similar experiences. But with parenting, when it's, mum and dad together for the first time, I don't know about you, but, the number of times I looked at my wife and said, well, well, I don't know. We're both on the front line on this one, and I can't offer you any extra advice or anything like that unless you've gone through it maybe in a different relationship before. It's so difficult because you're looking for reassurance from each other, and you're just not equipped enough to provide it.
It's so true because you're so used to looking to that other person to give you that comfort or that reassurance, but you're both going through it at the same time. So I remember when my little boy Kit was really poorly at about 8 weeks old, he got bronchiolitis and we ended up in hospital. And I remember Harry just looking at me for this kind of reassurance, and yet neither of us were able to, we were both, terrified for our little boy. And it was suddenly that feeling of, oh, I'm used to, you telling me everything's going to be okay.
Yeah, well, on the my second, when he arrived just in the last few months, they were checking his blood sugars at the start, and they were checking, and they checked again. Oh, it's a little bit low, it's a little bit low. And eventually a bloke came down, he was a doctor, don't worry, and just took him away. And this was on the midnight on the day he was born, and everything had gone absolutely, just took him away and went, we'll give you a shout in an hour, and we'll let you know where we're up. And we were just looked at each other like, what on earth do we do? We ended up just sitting on the bed, like hugging each other, because what do you do? The anxiety, you almost don't know how to feel because you're thinking, well, I've just had this great moment, the baby's arrived and everything's gone according to plan. And then suddenly, whoa, hang on a minute, there's a problem.
I think how utterly terrifying. And I think as well, it's one of those things where I have found since experiencing a baby that has been so unwell, it's heightened all my anxieties around their health. So if anything happens, my immediate response is to go to the worst case scenario. And actually that's where I have found mindfulness to be the most helpful thing, to help me manage those anxieties so that I can try and stay focused in what's happening right now rather than catastrophizing the situation and what might go wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Just the back angle to the story that in my case was that about 20 minutes later there was a knock on the door. The doctor went, "Oh, we've got more efficient machines upstairs, and actually the readings are absolutely fine. Here he is." And we were just like, "Oh,
it's terrifying, isn't it?"
Just tell us, Izzy, then, in terms of making time for this as well. You talk about mindfulness. Any parent will know that actually those moments in the day where you have the time for yourself. What time are you able to make either between you and your partner? What sort of time and what sort of things do you do to get those mindfulness moments?
So I really use mindfulness moments with my children. So it's something that I do with them. So for example, because both of my two have really sensitive skin, bath time, if they are uncomfortable, it can be a bit tricky. But when I put their moisturizer on the skin, I really talk to them about, is it hot? Is it cold? What does it smell like? We do it together. There's another little mindfulness thing that I do with Lola each night where I put my hand on my heart and put a hand on her heart. And we say together, may we be happy, may we be healthy, may we be calm, may we be safe. And she now will say it back to me. And it's a moment that I can be mindful, she can be mindful. And it only takes a moment from your day. I think people, when they think of mindfulness or meditation, they think they need to sit in a room, for 10, 20 minutes and think about nothing, which is impossible because our brain is trained to think. So it's practicing every day. It's doing these little things every day. And as you build them up, over time, it's something that just becomes second nature. So there's lots of little things that I try and do with my children. So it's something I can hopefully teach them because, I have had anxiety and Harry's talked about his own anxiety. So the odds are pretty stacked against them with looking after their mental health. And I really feel that mindfulness for me has been the most helpful tool. So as young as I can kind of teach them these little things, I think it's really important and it helps me as well.
Izzy, thank you for your time. Really appreciate you joining us on the programme today. Thanks for sharing your story, and I'm sure we'll catch up again very soon.
Thank you.
Mental Health Monday with Mick Coyle.
On Radio City Talk.